host. What's up, world? This is Nate, your host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Here on Friday, we're here a little bit later. We had a little bit of a me issue. I forgot some stuff, and we're gonna get it together. But today's topic is, let me get this out so I can say it officially now. The politics and being supportive. We're gonna talk a little bit about building an audience, building them up, then knock them down. But it's support from the other side. So the people who are the supporters going in. There are a number of things in the atmosphere right now that we're dealing with. One being here in Baltimore, we have our state's attorney, Ms. Marilyn Mosby, Esquire. She is being charged with, what's the one? Do you know the official charge? That's what I was looking at. And I went right over there. You got me looking up Jaguar, right? Oh, shit, that's it right there. Oh, no.
Give me a moment, I'll figure it. I got the article, but I don't have it right now.
So on last Thursday, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland announced a federal grand jury. How serious is that? Had indicted 5 months before, her next election in Carmel, indicted Mosby, age 41, on 4 federal charges of perjury and making false mortgage applications relating to purchases of 2 vacation homes in Florida. These charges came as she seeks a 3rd term as Baltimore state's attorney. So since 2015, Marilyn Mosby has been the state's attorney in Maryland, for Maryland, Baltimore. Since she's gotten into office, there's been a campaign to get her out of office. Literally, the first week, the individuals that were working in her office that she had to then fire because they were still campaigning for the person that was in the office before she was. I can't even tell you who the state's attorney was before Marilyn Mosby was in there. And it wasn't because this is a Black woman, it's because that person was never seen. Never seen, never heard. He may have done, a few press conferences outside the courtroom when there was big cases, but I really don't remember who he was. So the first week or the first month of her being elected state's attorney, because the last woman wasn't doing his job, so they elected a new person. We elected a new person. People in her office were suing her because she fired them, because they were kind of going behind her back, dismantling things on their social media, talking about her, bigging him up, saying we wish he was here. It got a little deep. So of course, they work in a law office, an official law office, the biggest one in this city. I don't want people here that don't have my best interest at heart. I don't want, reporters or anybody around me that don't have my best interest at heart. And Maryland is an at-will state. I can fire you for whatever reason. They were never under contract in that office. I can fire you for any reason, being an at-will state. So we're going to speak the legal jargon. And these people were actively trying to sue her because she fired them for being disloyal. And she came out and spoke about their disloyalty and why she had to let them go. So from day one of her becoming state's attorney, they began to slander her, throw her under the bus, and then it was less than a couple months later, one of the biggest cases in our city that sparked a number of other things like riots, all the riots. We had, I don't want you to call him this boy, Freddie Gray was, we say killed, but he died in the custody of police officers. Literally, he died in the back of the paddyway. And she took on that case in terms of trying to indict the 5 officers that were involved, that handled him from the time they picked him up to the time they brought him to the jail, then back to the hospital, then to the coroner. So that failed. That was one of her first big cases that she handled. And she didn't win. She didn't get any of them indicted. All of them were acquitted. And that started, that was the push. She was already being pushed over the edge, but that was the push for her over the edge in terms of her reputation, her integrity. And that was because we've gone through 3 mayors since she's been in. It's been this unspoken, I don't like her attitude from, what was her name? The lady you don't like that's in jail right now that's about to be a TV star because she was a bad mayor. So because that mayor didn't like her, because
just think of stink. Just think of stink.
She about to be a superstar. She about to be on World's Dumbest Criminals. And Pew, then Bernard Jack Young, and now it's just this unevenness about her relationship with these mayors. The governor has stepped in a number of times speaking on the job that she's doing. A number of city officials have stepped in because they didn't like the job that she was doing. Her job is to prosecute, put people in jail that have been accused of various crimes, big name crimes. Now, most of the cases out her office, she's not overseeing them in terms of her being the actual lawyer, the prosecutor. She is over the top of them. I've been in a number of those cases. I can't say why here, but I've been on a number of those cases where I've seen her still sitting behind the lawyer and giving support throughout the trial when there was a case that came to her office. So
right.
all the time,
she doesn't prosecute.
Right. But she has, like, for the Freddie Gray, she's sitting there.
Right. For anything that got to do with media, yeah, she will be a part of.
Right. But it's the bigger cases. Like, that was a big case. Exactly. That was when she first got there. That was her proving herself. Hey, E. Digger, Greg Bernstein. Yes. See, we don't even know who this man was. Who? He was Greg Bernstein. Who? Bernstein. Right. We don't know who he is. And then there's a number of people that look like us that are citizens in this state that are for reform, that's trying to get rid of the violence, that's trying to help in their way to do it. And I'm not disputing any of these people. I'm not going to say any of their names, but there are people who are at the forefront of fighting against various, issues we have in the city that are also born at her neck. And it upset me. It really, like, watching this, I could not wait to do my show. I was supposed to do this last week and we didn't get to it. But it really pissed me off to see the people go at her neck, because I'm not saying Pew was in the right, but there were also white people that were playing the play, as the young lady said on the little World's Dumbest Criminal show that she gonna be on. There was plenty of people that was involved in that, but Pew took the charge for it. In the case of Sheila Dixon, she took the charge for it, where everybody in her office got a card. We go to Bernard Jack Young. He was never really a man, so we're not going to go to him. But another high official Black woman in this city is now being grouped with other people who have done wrong. I haven't seen the receipts from all of those purchases that our governor made during the pandemic from Asia. I want to see the receipts from that. I want them to go at the necks. I want us to go at the necks of some of these people who we deem as corrupt. But they're going after this lady because they don't like her.
Even as you say that too, Nate, again, I still go back to the point that I was making to you when we were talking about this last week, that this is not a need for a grand jury. This is still something that we're talking about her spending her own money, whether she took it from her retirement account or not. She spent her own money. If anything, this is a IRS violation, which the IRS will send stuff up to legal channels when they can't enforceably get that money. If she does owe money, that's what her tax returns are for. So why are you doing this now before she has even a chance to file her tax return on April 15th?
Well, I'll say it up front. They're doing this because she is
for political purposes.
Election in 5 months.
For political purposes. For political purposes.
And I mean, first of all, the Sun paper
but the problem
is involved.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the problem with that is that this is our Department of Justice doing this, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because who doesn't know tax law if it's not them?
Well, they know it.
She pulled something from her pension plan. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. It's just that if it's not for the right cause, it is a penalty. Whether she said it was for COVID or not, it's still a tax violation if she didn't spend that money for COVID for the reason that she got it.
I heard a bit of her press conference before, and it was really in the direction of it being a hardship. And people were saying, well, she gets paid more.
She pulled it from her own retirement fund as a hardship.
Right.
That's my point.
Maybe she was trying to pay off some of those debts that her husband incurred.
Right. It's crazy. That still makes it an IRS violation, not a criminal case.
And for me, I'm really sensitive about calling something racism or sexism or homophobia, but this is sexism because they're not even including her husband in this. And he's the president of the city council. Like it's almost like they have it in for her.
Exactly, and then they're probably filing jointly. So you are absolutely right. He is the name of record on that tax return.
Well, I got them filing separately, but jointly. Isn't that one? That's one of the categories.
I wouldn't think so. When it comes to properties and stuff like that, I wouldn't think they would file separately unless it was a business purchase under her business name.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that she.
But I just got her being and the way they're writing it, the Sun paper, the epitome of scum in the city. One of them. It's just like they've just been at her throat since 2015. And for me, we have to stand up for her. And it's not about her being, I don't want to be stupid about it. And if she's guilty, then she's guilty. If she made a mistake, let the IRS deal with it because there's nothing the court can do about it. You know, they're indicting her for a mistake that she made in her personal life.
Situation that you're trying to make it criminal.
Right.
When if she owes money back as far as the penalty is concerned, then she'll pay the penalty.
Right.
Why are we talking about this in front of grand juries and all this other kind of stuff?
I mean, they wanted that term indictment. They wanted that term of indictment.
We're talking about this as far as taxes are concerned. If you owe taxes, you pay the taxes. You don't automatically go to prison. What are we talking? That's what I'm saying. What are we trying to make society turn into? A litigation state, or are we trying to be human?
Everything is politics. And the one, I was talking to my friend earlier, and I think as voters, we have misunderstood what voting is for. Voting isn't to get somebody in office, as we've gotten Marilyn Mosby and Governor, whomever, and such into office. It's not about them being in office. It's about the things we need for our neighborhoods, our communities, our children, ourselves, resources. All of these, that's what voting is for. It's not about the individual, because it seems like the individual gets into the office and then they do what they want to do. But I've been able to watch her, and not just because I've got paid vicariously through her actions. I did, but a company that I worked for was paid to host a number of her open mics that she did around the city, that she was doing through her budget in her office legally. It was an open mic series. So it was basically just to get teenagers off the streets young people off the streets. And she did this for a number, up into the pandemic. They had initiatives. Every week it was somewhere else, whether she was at Shake and Bake or Arena Players or somewhere throughout the city, giving young people just a space to be able to create. And this particular one that I know about was through for the purpose of open mic. So poetry, music, being able to get up there and perform. And it was, she would be there. It wasn't like she put her name on something and she signed off on using the office money. She was there. She sat in her seat the whole time and she participated in it. She was a part of various, and it wasn't just one of them. They were throughout the city. She had a number of them. I don't know Mr. Bernstein. I don't remember him taking these initiatives to kind of curb violence. So the purpose of me saying this was because I was very shocked at the number of people who began to post the I Am With Marilyn Mosby GIFs around on their social media page. It really shocked me at some of the people because they're not typically very political people, or they go with the wind when it comes to politics. And I know a lot of people don't like her because they see her as arrogant. They see her intelligence as arrogance. They see her directness as corrupt, I guess, or they see her as just another Black woman, an angry Black woman. But she has done more to help this city, because even though she didn't get those 5 police officers indicted, she helped change the rules in terms of the care that officers have to take once they put a individual into custody. You know, seatbelts being put on the back of those paddy wagons so they're safely secured and not just handcuffs and put in the back of it. You know, so she helped create legislation to help curb that. She's also done, hey, how's it going? Oh, okay. We got our guest for the day. You here? Can you hear us?
I can hear you now, yes.
How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing
I was just going on my little tangent on Marilyn Mosby. I just hate how, you know, sometimes we join the white bandwagon of, you know, throwing us under the bus.
For sure.
It just affected me in a way because since 2015, everything they could have said, everything they could have done, and she was a sister who dotted all her I's and crossed all her T's, so there was nothing they could get her on. And you get her now on a text something that we can't even explain at this moment. So it's really, it's unfortunate, but I see a lot of people that look like us. I expect for Governor Scumbag to jump on the bandwagon, but when it's people like us, it hurts a little bit, because when we do get empowered, we do get empowered in leadership roles, it's like we build each other up to kind of pull that rug underneath us. And I've been feeling that for a minute about various things. And you posted on your page a really good question. And you're good at stirring up the pot and setting fires. You're one of the little sneaky ones that just like to set the little fires within our arts community. And sometimes some of these questions go beyond the arts. And this was one of them. And it was it wasn't based on the person that was being supported. It was based on the person doing the supporting.
Right.
And you brought up the question on what goes into what you share and what you don't share. What's the politics in that?
Right.
Or is it politics in it? So I'm gonna let you first introduce yourself, and then we can get to it.
Okay, no problem.
Start discussing. Thank you. This man just got off of work and he came home.
It's all good. I appreciate the opportunity, number one. So it was nothing for me to rush home and do this. I love this platform. I love doing this. I did it. I think the last time I was on this show was before COVID.
Yeah, it was before COVID.
It was before COVID. We was in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
In the studio. But
been a minute.
Yeah, man, it's been too long. It's been too long. Yeah. But I am Theo Atlas. I am man, you know what? I'm a lot of things.
A lot of things.
We'll just say I'm an artist in Baltimore.
AKA a shit starter. That's what artist means. That's what artist means in this city now.
But I'm really, you know what's funny is that now in my maybe in my 20s, in my early 20s, my mid 20s, I was a shit starter. But I think now it really is genuinely just trying to spark a conversation about real, like, or I don't want to say real things, because I'm not the owner of real and fake. I'm not that person that decides what's real in somebody's life and what's fake in someone's life.
Well, you're living your life, as many of us who are trying to be as real as possible, you're living your life out loud via social media. And sometimes that's asking real hard questions. That's starting some shit. And I say that with all the integrity in the world.
For sure. I'm from the generation of builds, man. Like, people that used to be in ciphers, and I'm not talking about just freestyling, but I'm talking about like educational, knowledgeable ciphers where it was people in a circle building on different topics and different things that they knew. And that's how we learned in the community, was having ciphers, and that's how you got knowledge of self, and that's how you got information about God, and that's how you got information about religion and what was going on in the neighborhood and politics, and you build with the people that are in your tribe. So I pose those questions not to really start shit, but to build with the people that's in my tribe. And unfortunately, in order to get that attention from that tribe is to post on social media now instead of being. I would love to be in person in an actual circle with brothers and sisters having a conversation. You know what I mean? It's a difference between being on social media and being in person, because you can hear tone. You can't always hear tone in the message. You know what I mean?
So often we assume when it's text.
That's all you can do is assume, and when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So, you know what I mean? It's an important thing to. It's important to hear tone, because for the most part, I'll type in a certain tone, and it may not be received in the tone that I typed it in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll say that.
So his question was, it's an uncomfortable question for artists. Do you repost other artists because you really like them, the art, or because of politics? That was the question.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're in a city where we have tons of people giving awards and honors and accolades and boosting people up justifiably, because we have a lot of talented people in this. So I didn't take it from that perspective. I took it from the perspective of the supporter. Right. And why we support things versus the politics of, and you didn't come from the, man, they hating on me perspective, which we tired of hearing. But why don't you support your own? Or why do a white person have to big up this person to, for them to blow up? We're about to lose more artists. I see more artists coming to the top that we may be losing because we overlook them.
Absolutely.
And they come up.
100%. So, I think, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's on you. Go ahead.
I did post that question a little while back. I kind of give you the reason or the origin of why I posted that question and why it was on my heart. Because I have been in the art scene for, I'll say this, I have been actively an artist in the art scene and in the music scene for more than a decade. In the Baltimore scene in particular. And music, hip hop, spoken word, because they go hand in hand in this city. If you are a strategic artist, they go hand in hand in this city. And I have had conversations amongst my peers about different artists. Like, we'll be sitting at a table or we'll be sitting at a restaurant, and we talking music, we talking, current events. And I have heard certain artists have one opinion about an artist, and then on social media have a different opinion about that artist. And it makes sense, because if you are an artist in the game, you play the politics game. And I remember brother by the name of Brother Carlos Muhammad always told me politics are politics. So you play the tricks in the game, you play the tricks of the game and you play the game, even if you may be sitting with a peer or a friend of yours or somebody that you respect, talking about how you might really not like this artist or the content that they put out. And I've seen it happen. So I posted that question because it was a genuine question as far as, you know, it was a question to artists. Like, yo, do y'all post the stuff that y'all like? Or do you post the stuff because you had a prior conversation with this artist? They hit your inbox, they DM'd you like, yo, could you repost my joint? Could you support? Could you do this? And you just made up some mock post, posted this song to, you know, to I guess do your job in pushing this artist to maybe an audience that they would have not reached if it wasn't for the work that you put in. You know what I mean? So it's just a question, and it would be a question to kind of bail off of certain artists, like, yo, do you really like this shit, or is it, you know what I'm saying, or is it something different?
Right. Or is it just that person? Because it could be the other side too. That person is starting to pick up momentum in terms of the power, quote unquote, powers that be. And you want to be associated with it.
Right.
So you get seen. So that's how I saw it when I read your post. I was like, this nigga in my damn diary. What the hell is he doing in my thoughts? Because I see a lot of people who, and for me, I'm coming from the actor world, the artistry, visual artist side. So I'm seeing the same things that you're seeing. And thanks to people like Shinyer, who is starting to really connect everything in the city and make all of us face each other, at least for one night. But I'm seeing it because it's not so much that the person isn't talented, but I'm seeing ones of us that are purposely I'm not posting that. Yeah. Because I gotta get to that level, then we can share. And it's that whole, you know, Jay-Z versus Dame Dash mentality that I see starting to develop within the local level. But I'm also seeing us lose so many artists once they've scraped and climbed and gotten an advantage somewhere, they leave and they never come back. I know too many artists who have left us, who got tired of that system and won't come back to us. In terms of, so I'm about action, like solution. So what do you think we can do collectively as a Baltimore, let's speak about Baltimore, as a Baltimore art scene to fix that or to go against that grain of only what's popular, quote unquote?
I don't know. I again, it's so deeply rooted. It's so deeply rooted in politics that I think it has to do with the individual's integrity. It has to do with the individual's integrity. So if your integrity is there and you are, I mean, fuck being an artist, let's talk about just being a person. If your integrity is there and you can have an honest conversation with an artist or have an honest conversation with producer, whatever the case may be, to let them know how you feel about their art instead of posting it because they, like you said, may have a certain clout, or you know, you wanna be a part of that, or you're quote unquote helping this young artist out or helping this person up under you. So you post that so later on you can have some opportunity with them or use them for something else. Like there's so many avenues of posting somebody's art that you just don't like. I think the solution to it is if you actually like it, there's no problem. If you really like this song from this artist and you post it and you shout it out like, yo, such and such killed this joint.
Right.
And you really feel that in your soul, that's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing. Post that on your page. It's your page. You do what you want to do. It's social media. You helping that artist out. You know, somebody may see it, and that's cool. But if you are posting an artist that in a conversation with another group of people, you have said, I don't say negative things, but it's just not your liking. It's not your type of art. It's not your type of music. Or, you know, you may think that they trash, which everybody ain't nice. Like, come on now, let's be real. Everybody not nice. But you still post them, then the solution is finding some integrity. Sitting back.
That word keeps we can't help but to include that word, integrity, in it. Because now those people you were in that circle with talking bad about it, I'm looking at you sideways now. Like, what's the difference? What happened?
Exactly. That's my point exactly. So it's like one of the things that I think every human needs in order to function around other human beings is empathy and sympathy. Think about, if it's never happened to you, think about how you feel when somebody is in your face. Because, I mean, social media, if I tag you, it's like if I bring you like, yo, this dude right here, he cool as shit. His music is amazing. But then when you walk away, I'm like, nigga, all right, he cool. He all right. I mean, he ain't better than me. He ain't better than such and such. Like,
now you're a hater.
Yeah, but it's about sympathy and empathy. How would you feel about a person who does that to you? Right. How would you, and that's the thought process. How would you feel if somebody posted your work and you actually think that they fuck with you, but you hear from 3, 4, 5 other people that they really don't?
Right. And that happens. It
happens all the time. It happens all the time.
And but how did before I even said anything, I was going through your comments because I was like, this about to, but people were honest. They was like, I don't post it. I won't post it if I don't like it, or, you know, or some people was like, well, we gotta do, you know, you gotta play the politics game. I was shocked at the people who said what they said, but not really, because it's a part of the process. Right. And I personally, I just don't like that click mentality, but I also don't like the fakeness that goes into it. So please don't like me because you saw, you know, this young lady wearing something of mine. So now you want to come and buy that thing. Right. Because you want to be a part of that social circle. Right. Of, you know, she think it's dope, so I'm going to think it's dope. Like the mindlessness of it all. Yes. And I think that I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I think that every type of art, whether it's production, videography, photography, acting, music, poetry, visual art, painting, sculpture, I think that it is saturated with a generation of people who have seen either a DIY tutorial video on how to do it, or it worked for them, so I'm gonna do it. It worked for them, so I'm gonna do it. The material and the technology is so easily accessible that I can get it, try it. Oh, that's kind of hot. I'm gonna keep doing it. And it's a hobby compared to people who want to do this for their life. And they have gone through the trials and the tribulations of being an artist, of being a producer, of being a videographer, of being a photographer, of being broke, of, you know, really putting everything into this, quitting your job,
having people say, or having people, and you a grown man. I would say that I don't know how old you are. I ain't gonna guess your age because I don't want to do that.
Man, so I'm 38. I'm
all right. So I'm about to say like late 20s, early 30s. I was gonna say that. But you're in your 30s, and you know that when you go to a group of people, or when you were younger, and you told somebody, "Hey, I want to be a host. Hey, I want to be an actor." The first thing that they tell you is the numbers. There's a 1 in a million chance you're going to be successful. There's a 1 in a billion chance. Are you sure that you want to do that? You better have a plan B. It may not work. Like all of that shit. What was my point in saying all of that? Hold on 1 second. Okay, I know what it was. You had that, but a real artist who it lives in their heart. That shit doesn't matter. That challenge and that verbal obstacle and that mental struggle and that mental control of trying to make you a regular person and not an artist of, what the fuck you was putting on this planet for. When you still do it, that's the test of a real artist. I think that there's an abundance of people who try this artwork and who have yes men around them, and their art never grows. I think that you need somebody to tell you, yo, this shit sucks. Or, yo, this shit could be a little better. You need challenges instead of people kissing your ass the entire time, because then how you gonna grow? How do you grow?
Or encouraging them to, or you bringing people in their life that officially knowing, because we have a lot of, this is the blogger sphere that we're in right now. It's a haze where everybody is a social commentator.
Yes.
And because I wrote a book, I am now an expert on writing books.
Right.
And your book has a ton of grammatical errors, and it doesn't really flow right. But because you've done it, the world now sees you as an expert because you've completed something.
100%.
And that says a lot about our community, because that means a lot of us not completing shit.
Right.
And we're not seeing things through. And I get, you put your money in this person and they shitted on you. And, I have friends who went on to the NBA and that are considered stars now, and they forgot about, the people who got them there or supported them getting there. So I get that. But we have too many creatives in this city for this to continue to go. And like at some point, you're like, well, this person is talented. Or this, or how can I help you to do better?
Right.
I see that this is your passion. You've quit the job, sold your car, you out there doing everything you can do to get this mixtape together. Right. Let me see if I got anybody in my arsenal that can really help you, and not just from my opinion status. Because I'm just an audience member at this point. I may not even be in that field of what you're doing. Let me see if I got somebody in my arsenal, my friend list that can help you. That's the types of things that I do. I see brothers like yourself doing that, passing along information.
100%.
But it's just that thing we've been. And we can't pretend, as Black people in general, our hopes and dreams haven't always been deferred.
For sure.
Paying the bills and keeping a roof over our head.
100%.
And we have to begin to understand, because now you got parents competing with their children in the same way. Because now technology or opportunity has opened up where I can go to school together. Look how many people graduating with their parents.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful, but just I think the despair in that was what happened that person is just getting to this phase.
Right.
But I want to see this city on, and not just pockets.
Right.
I want to see it on. It's too hot here for that level. And part of me didn't want to look at the comments before today's show, but I'm looking at the comments still, and it's hurtful, because you watch that person, they busting their ass, and you're not even acknowledging it, but you're putting all your energy over here, yet you're on your social media saying how people are hating on you.
Right.
And how people don't want to support you because this crab in a barrel mentality.
Right.
I'm tired of hearing that narrative. I'm ready for a new one.
So Nate, when I tell you because I thought about the question today, because I knew that I was going to speak with you. And I tried to think of where the question came. Like, I knew what I was feeling, but I was like trying to think a little deeper into why was this question living in me the whole time? Like, why was it living there? So like, I remember coming up as an artist on the open mic scene in the city. And I won't say, you know in the early 2000s that every night was a night somewhere. Yeah. Every night was a night somewhere. It was the such and such Wednesdays or such and such Tuesdays or blah, blah, blah Thursdays. There was a night every night. With those, and this is before like you can tag somebody on social media. This is like early Facebook.
You had flyers and shit.
Flyers, like the 4x6s, the early MySpace days. Still kind of, and I'm aging myself, a little bit of Black Planet days. Like,
oh wow. So sir, you need to not tell your age, sir.
No, I'm 30, I'm 34. I'll be 35 next year. Next month. Next month. But
he about to start talking about AOL chat rooms and shit.
Sir. So before, like, when it was word of mouth, when it was foot to ground, when that's the way that you promoted. So you had your nights. Talking about clicks, this is what I'm getting to. Every night or every venue had a host. Every host had their group of artists that when those artists came in, they didn't have to pay. They didn't have to sign a list. They didn't have to pay for drinks. They didn't have to worry about getting on stage or not. Right. Because the host would come to them and ask them, yo, you want to get on stage tonight? Hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Then you had other artists that would come in early before the host got there. Before the shit started, before the host got there, would sign number 2 or 3 or 4 on the list, and then would get called either at the end of the night or wouldn't get called at all. Right. Clicky ass shit like that worked through that was through the city. I think that transferred into social media, right? Yeah. So with that type of energy being transferred into social media, that's why I asked that question. Do you really fuck with this artist? Or is it still, are we still doing this political bullshit that's like, you really think that because you got a venue, you got an audience every week, you know a couple of dope artists, that you are higher than some potential dope ass shit that you're missing out on because you want to be ignorant. But
also understand that plethora of because being a couple years older than you, I saw it when it was a lot of stuff going on, but it wasn't like a poetry, 5 and 6 poetry things going on every night of the week at the same time simultaneously. Right. And many of those people who are, I think that question may have been directed to, were some of those people who came early and signed the list. And now they've gotten to a certain level.
That's what I'm saying.
And now they are reciprocating that energy that they have now got.
Exactly. Because it's what we know. It's what we know. And it's like, it's this whole art thing is like raising children. It's like once you get to that age where you have had the experience and then you see another artist that is, maybe an amateur or, they just starting off. Right. I don't know what it is with parents that compare their childhood to their children's childhood. Like, well, I didn't have that, so they shouldn't have that. Like, no, as a parent, and I'm talking about, and when I say parent, I mean somebody that is more experienced, that has been through it. Yeah. Why would you, as an active artist, want a younger artist to go through the same shit that you went through, to prove themselves an artist? That makes no sense to me.
That's a part of our culture, though, also, Theo, because I come through the educational system with my art. Like, I went to school to fine tune it.
For sure.
And that happens because we have I went to Couser. We had a lot of professors that wanted us to know what the struggle was.
100.
And I get that. Show me the struggle, but don't take away the opportunities.
Right.
Or dangle the opportunities in front of me. And
that's what I'm saying.
And not, really, copying was about nurturing potential. And that was the biggest lie ever. I want my money back just for that. But it was simply, and that we see that with our elders too. They want to see us succeed, but they know it's almost like I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you're going to be able to do it because I couldn't do it.
Okay. So when I talk to my mentor, my mentor, Brother Carlos, not Brother Carlos Muhammad of not the minister, not at the mosque, but he is FOI, but he's not. I'm not talking about the minister. So let me get that correct for your audience, because your audience may very well be familiar with Minister Carlos Muhammad. I'm talking about Carlos Muhammad of Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
He lived here in college. I met him when I was at BCCC. He was the student coordinator, became my mentor. I look up to this brother. I talk to him to this day. But I used to say to him, old people forget and young people rebel. And that's where the bridge isn't connecting. I think that you're absolutely right. I think that you should educate young people on the struggle. I think that you should, so that they can appreciate where they are right now and the opportunities that you have right now. It wasn't you're born into this, but it was people that had to fight for that. It's people that had to die for that. It's people that had to go through a lot of stuff for you to be able to do what you're doing right now. 100% agree. But I think as an elder right now, I got certain keys that young folks shouldn't have to search in the dark for anymore. If I got the keys, I should be able to give you the keys so that you can get through and be better than me. I want you to be better than me. I want you to do better than me.
So you said a word that I think many people have forgotten about, and it's called mentorship. There are many people in this so I'm at the very, very beginning of millennialness, and then it spans to maybe like late 20s. And what happened was people forgot that we need to be mentored.
For sure.
And some of us took the initiative because we may have had parents that say, hey, I'm going to attach you to this person, I'm going to attach you to that person. And some of us didn't have that. And some of us had to find this way on our own, and we just didn't have it. So I think a big problem that many of us are facing is that lack of, I don't know why I forget to plug my phone up.
You know what? I got to plug my computer up as you do it. I looked at my battery like, oh.
But it really did, mentorship, you said it.
Yeah.
That person, that brother Muhammad that you can go to will give you the harsh criticism. Some of the stuff that question was intended to, they're gonna give you that. They're gonna give you that harsh criticism. They're gonna give you that back and forth that your peers can't give you because you're in the same space. When I first wanted to go into radio, I remember being middle school. I went to 92Q and did an internship. I asked all the questions that I had to ask that summer. And nobody wanted to give me the answer. Nobody wanted to say, hey, and the only person that did want to give me any advice was Miss Tony. That was the only person that had any inclination to say, hey, let me just tell this little middle schooler what it is. Nobody else. It was like I was asking them for their social security number. So I think the key pivot in that is mentorship.
Absolutely.
How powerful has that mentorship been in your life? Now I'm asking you, how powerful?
Oh, you're asking me.
That's right.
You want to know what's funny? This is what's funny. First and foremost, I'm beyond blessed, beyond lucky, beyond lucky, beyond blessed with information and connections with a lot of very, very important people in the music business.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep it like that. Don't want to name drop. I'm not that person. And this ain't that interview. But
you ain't gonna name drop?
Not gonna name drop. Not gonna name drop. I'm not that person.
I'll call you later.
Yeah, holla at me. But I'll say this. From the people in this city, I've learned from example of what to do and what not to do. And I think that as a young Black man and as a young Black person, period, I think my advice to people or to these young people is always be a student. And when somebody isn't giving you the steps on how to get there, always use your eyes and your ears and watch what people are doing so you know what works for you. And that way you will know how, like, I learned from these different events or these different venues that I was talking about that when I got the opportunity, I ain't never gonna do no shit like this. I'm never gonna have, it's never gonna be a situation where I have a open mic, I'm the host, I run the shit, I invite the people, these people sign a list, and 3-4 of my homeboys come in, and I totally disregard the list and, yo, Skull, come on and perform. Yo, Docs, come on and put, like.
It wasn't even like, hey, I'm gonna just put you, it was out loud. Hey, we got this special guest tonight.
Right.
That just walked in the fucking door.
Right. So it's like, when I did Respect the Craft at Baltimore City Community College, which was it was a big open mic at the college for some years. When I hosted that, one of my main things was I want to get the artists that are of my generation, I want to get them paid. Okay. I want to put money in their pocket. I'm not talking about $50 for a feature. You know what I'm saying? $40 for, like, you know how we was getting paid back in the day for these features, man, like 30, or
I'm gonna get you something to eat, y'all. I'm gonna get you something to eat.
Or I'm gonna get you something to eat. Or this shit right here. Hold on. I'm looking for, wait a minute. So you just killed it, right? And they're handing something like this. Everybody put some money in there if you can. We're gonna pass the cup around. You put your money in. Like, no, fuck that. These artists put mad work, put blood, sweat, and tears into this artwork. They came here and they put on a hell of a show. They need to have money in the beginning. You need to come in with at least, you need to be talking at least 3 figures, at least. You know what I'm saying? And I always told, even to this day, I tell people like, yo, I'm not gonna have you come unless I'm able to have a contract for you. Okay. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I can't do it. I don't feel right doing it. I know the work that you put into your shit. I know that your shit is top quality. I know how much a studio costs. I know how much different musicians cost. I know how much mixing and mastering costs. Not gonna have you come here for $10, nigga. Like, that's dead. That's dead. So, with that being said, I learned to bring in people. I learned to give people opportunities that somewhere else they would have had to, like, almost fight for. Like, yo, almost get into somebody's face. Like, yo, I'm getting on the stage right now. I'm getting on the stage today. I done signed a list for 3 fucking weeks straight.
We done saved the people before.
This the 4th week I done signed my list and you ain't called my name. I'm getting on this. Like, you gotta almost like fucking fight somebody.
Right. And it was a game. It wasn't just about a click, it was a game. But I see
politics.
But it's
politics.
And we already at the bottom of the totem pole and we playing politics with each other.
That's what I'm saying.
Gatekeeping. I call it gatekeeping.
It is gatekeeping. Perfect word. So, like, when I say your question was, what did I learn?
Well, what did you get from mentorship?
What did I get from mentorship?
Mm-hmm.
Going back to, I'll say this. I'll tell you what I learned not to do from a person. I'm not gonna say their name, and I'll tell you what I learned what to do and how this shit works by Brother Carlos Muhammad. So I used to ask all the time when I was young, how do you make money in this? I got art, I got music. How do I make money in this? Besides selling the CDs, because I started to see people do other shit like speak on panels and get these opportunities where they were asked to feature, and I started to see the money. I started to see like the money, like, yo, how did I remember? And I'm gonna tell you the guy. I'm not gonna tell you the guy's name, but I'm gonna tell you. I remember asking, how do you get features? How you get features? Something simple. I don't want no money. I just want to know how you get features. How can I get on this stage and do more than one piece? We got projects now. Me and Travis, the Terrapins, had projects. So it's like, yo, all right. People like us. People fuck with us. How can we start featuring? The gentleman told me, you got to wait for somebody to ask you to feature. You got to wait for somebody to ask you to feature. You got to put in the work, and you got to, and once you put in enough work, somebody will see it and they'll ask you to feature. Dumbest fucking advice in the world. I'm telling you, the stupidest advice in the world. Excuse me, because I'm keep licking my mouth and my mouth is dry. I apologize. It look like I'm on, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, dumbest advice in the world. When I tell you that very year, because we have put in work for a couple of years. Put in work for a couple of years. Nobody has ever asked us to feature. We like, what the fuck going on? Because the audience is the reciprocation or the reciprocation. What's the word?
What you're receiving from the audience.
Yeah, when people are receiving shit from. I know it ain't precipitation. That's random, but what we are receiving from the audience was great things. Like we killing shit. What's going on? So I took it upon myself to ask. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I realized that Olu Butterfly. Shout out to Olu. Shout out to Olu for being the fucking GOAT, number one. And between me and you and your audience, the secret plug. Olu is the fucking plug. And I tell you about that later, but Olu is the plug. I love Olu with all my heart.
She's been doing it. She's been doing it from ground up.
Listen, Olu is the plug. Period. I remember I want to say like 2008, probably 2008, 2009-ish. I went up to Olu after Organic Soul Tuesdays one day because I was always scared to like just talk to her and figure this shit out because it's that whole, like you said, that whole gatekeeping shit. You didn't want to talk to certain people because they felt like they was out of reach to talk to. One day I just was like, fuck it. We done came here a bunch of times for like a year or two and we done murdered this shit. I'm about to ask Olu for a feature. The worst thing she could say is no. I asked Olu for a feature, and I mean, there was not a conversation. Olu, how you doing? Real quick, don't mean to bother you while you're doing it. Is there by any chance just the gentleman that I am, the person that my mama raised? Is there by any chance in your schedule that me and Travis can feature as the Terrapins? She was like, "Oh, what day? What day you want to feature?" Wait. What? What are you talking about? Is that easy? Yeah, hold on. Just let me finish and then let me go grab my calendar. And we can you do next month? Fuck yeah, we can do next month. We asked. So that's how we got a feature. From that feature, we got a feature at Morgan. From that Morgan feature, the features start piling up to the point where we had to schedule it and actually say no to a couple of them. It didn't come from somebody. The first one did not come from somebody asking us to feature. The first one came from us getting up and, yo, fuck that. We dope. We want to feature. Can we have a feature, please?
But see, that's the mentality that we've had culturally. I'm going to just do all I can do, and I'm going to wait to be chosen. And sometimes you got to get up and do that for you. And that's why I honed in on that mentorship. Because similarly, I'm going through the same thing now at this phase of my life because I never wanted to ask. You know, I felt like the people who were in charge of nurturing me dropped the ball. And then when I would reach out, it was like, let me get back to you. I'm going to get back to you. And I just went on, you know, throughout my 20s, now into my 30s, just doing it my way. And, you know, your way can sometimes be shitty because you're going through every bump in the road, every pothole you going over, every red light you getting into. But, you know, just a simple, like, hey, what's going on? I literally, this happened to me with Troy Burton. Shout out to Troy and many of the people like Troy that's from a older generation that don't mind helping, giving a helping hand to somebody. You know, he held it down at the UB Blake for years, opening it up for opportunities. Absolutely. But if we would have known at 19 it was that easy, we would have been. But if it could have been a fifth, then we all would have been famous right now. So let me go ahead.
Let me say this is to kind of add on to what you're saying. It's not that easy. It's not easy. The reason that it's not easy is because the one thing that some people may forget is that you got to be good first.
Yeah, you got to put the work in. Yeah,
got to be good. Like you got to be dope.
Yeah,
you can't be a lackluster artist asking for some shit. Somebody say no, and then you like, oh well,
you heartbroken.
What the fuck wrong with me? Like, why can't?
But that's supposed to be the given circumstance. And maybe I'm coming from a space of I'm coming from theater, so you don't have to get ready if you already ready. Like, and it's just the idea you preparation is number one.
For sure.
The ask comes like maybe 4 or 5.
Exactly.
But you got to just put the work in doing what you're doing. But see, we have a generation now who was taught to just ask and demand. And not put in the work. Yeah. So I may look the part, I can put on my patchouli and I can get dope and get my locks together. And I'm just, you know, I fit the image. And we see a lot of posers showing up and you like, oh, they got a feature? I ain't coming back here no more. So that word integrity keeps coming back up. But we also have to remember mentorship.
For sure.
You know, and once you get to a certain level of experience, even if you still have a mentor, but once you get to a certain level of experience, you have to begin to give, as you said, those keys to people who match your energy. And I'll say this on another side of it. I don't give advice to individuals, or my advice to certain individuals who don't put in the work is a silence, a blank silence.
Sure.
I don't respond. Once I may see them working and getting I do that. I'll text them like, hey, what's going on? If you just such and such, give me a call. Let's set up a meeting. But I have to see you working. It's not like you have to prove anything to me, but I'm not going to hand over all my information to you. And you haven't even put in the work. Because the first thing you will say is, man, I talked to Nate. He said, this is what you do. And so now my integrity is in question because I should have taught you, but you don't want to be taught. You just want to get the information, get your money so you can start asking and then move forward. I'm still on the fence about how to deal with that individual. Sure. But like you said, the work has to be put in first. So it's not like you're going to ask somebody and you're not ready and prepared. So the opportunity you're getting.
That's beautiful because now that brings me to the mentorship and what my mentor told me as far as like how this game works. And instead of me having to go against somebody that told me how the game works, somebody that was giving me game and was like, nah, yo, this how this shit really work. This how you get it. Carlos Muhammad taught me how to work this college market as an artist.
Okay.
As an artist, as a young artist, especially in your 20s, and if you are gaining momentum, if this is what you really want to do, grants and college gigs. But in order to get a college gig, you have to have a college press kit. In order to have a college press kit, you have to put in some work. And you have to have examples of your work. And it has to be professionally done. And then if you think about, and this is all game that Carlos Muhammad gave me because he's a student coordinator of a school and he's been a student coordinator of a school. If you get that together and it's professional, and now you have what is called electronic press kits, which is a fancy word for a website,
right?
A wonderfully put, good, informed website, pictures, videos, information, kind of your resume of what you've done, you know, opportunities that you've had that you have seized and killed. Once you do that, then you can you look at how many colleges are in, let's go with how many colleges are in Maryland, period.
Yeah.
Let's say, and bro, when I tell you I didn't know college money was real, like I didn't know that a part of every student, and this is game that I'm giving on, like, yo, this is real game. Every student that pays tuition, in your tuition, there's something called
activities fee.
Student activities fee.
Yeah, because I paid this shit. I know that. Yeah. You know
what I'm saying? And I mean, and this information ain't really for you because you a vet this shit. This is more for your audience. Student activity fee. Every student has to pay this fee. It's all together. All that money comes together for student activities. Yeah. If you get in at a certain time, I ain't gonna give you the time because I ain't gonna give you all the game. If you get in at a certain time, there's a possibility that your press kit can be seen and you can be chosen to come to perform at a school. If you get, let's say you just starting off, let's say the therapist just starting off, we trying to do this school thing. We perform at a school for $600 a school. Let's say that's our price. $600 for us to come to the school. That's all inclusive. All inclusive. That's for travel. We get in the car, we drive, we perform, we kill it, we promote all that shit for $600. If we did that at every school just in Maryland, nigga, why would you need a job? Yeah. You don't need a job anyway. That's your job now. Your job is actually being a full-time artist. That's how you don't have to wait for a label. You ain't got to, like, our generation wanted to wait for a label. This is all fucking game that Carlos sat and taught me because he saw me show initiative in starting an open mic, not just starting it though, starting it, setting up the equipment, getting the DJ, grabbing artists from the city, like bringing niggas from the city into the schools, people into the city, bringing other colleges into the, because I'll say this, I'm a Morgan Bear without being a Morgan Bear. I love Morgan so much. I'll
forgive you for that. I'll forgive you for that.
No, fuck that. Shout out to Coppin. Shout out to Eagles Nest. I remember Eagles Nest back at Coppin. I used to love Coppin. I was at the Eagles Nest. I was upstairs in the student
in the old cafeteria.
The old cafeteria. Trust me, Coppin is love too. Coppin is family. I love Coppin. Morgan, though, I'll say this: Morgan, the people, that community, the poetry community there, or how it used to be,
right?
nobody can fuck with him. And I will say that about any poetry community in this city. Most of them niggas came from Morgan. You had people that came from Coppin, like Love the Poet. You had
E the MC.
You had I don't know if E the Poet MC went to Coppin though.
That's what he was in charge of. Well, he oversaw it for a second.
I can see that, but you got the dude. Oh my goodness, he cut
Slangston Hughes.
You had Slangston. You had so many people from Coppin that was dope. But then you got Archie and Lyrical Morgan. You got Roscoe and late Mike Phoenix Morgan. You got B Fur and Paradox that used to do this shit in the city. Morgan. These are all Morgan artists who were dope as shit. I used to grab all them, bring them to BCCC. All of them. I used to get the people from Coppin. All of them niggas come to BCCC. Let's kill it. This ain't about Morgan poets doing Morgan shit and Coppin niggas doing Coppin. Come to BCCC, where it's a community college,
right?
And it's city. It was rappers. It was poets. A lot of them were good. A lot of them were garbage. But it's still bringing them into one thing. When he saw me do that shit, he was like, "Yo, this kid has drive. Like he has drive, and he actually is about what he's saying." So he
and drive and understand drive is above potential, not ranking anything, but potential is you may be able to do this. Drive is you're doing it, and you just need to be taken to another level.
Exactly. So the question all of this going back to the question, do you really fuck with this artist? Or are you doing this shit to either gain something or help somebody in a quote unquote help somebody or push somebody in a fast food kind of way? You're not nurturing that nigga's art if you really don't fuck with him by posting his shit. It's just, let me get that nigga a shout out so he, so he'll leave me the fuck alone. So he'll get out my inbox.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and post this nigga shit so he'll, stop bothering me and I gotta talk to this nigga all the time. Or let me post this nigga shit playing chess so I can get the younger audience, because I'm an old nigga now and I want to be relevant with the young niggas. So let me, because I see that this little young nigga like me, so let me go ahead and post his shit so he can tell everybody about me and come to my show for my shit and I can make all the money.
And that's what, when you pose the question of where's shape, that's what I've read. Right. Because that's what we see on a regular basis.
It's corny.
It's so you can come, so I can get your audience. Because I posted and you will get some likes, but if people ain't gonna really like it, they ain't gonna listen to it. But your people are gonna now see me.
It's corny.
And I think
it's a hustle.
Integrity. We just got drive and just that idea of mentorship. Because mentorship will alleviate not everything, because it's still gonna be somebody who want it their way and that's the fast way. But the idea of mentorship, and it's really, I've been having this conversation for the last maybe 2 years with Troy Burton and Tracy Jenkins, because it's something that I was lacking in this world. It was just something I was lacking. But I didn't realize Tracy a big sister. I had Troy that I could go to. I just didn't understand that. But that goes to show you when you're in especially with the individuals of us who chose to go through the academic route and major in theater or music, or there's a level of church hurt that we get that will define how we go about or the trajectory of our careers. If we get that church hurt on a hurt side of it, I may not even want to do this. Or I'm going to be so insular that I'm going to do everything my way and probably make all the mistakes. And then 38, you're now having to settle all the stuff out in front of you, the mistakes that you made, and now rebuild yourself. And that's, to be transparent, that's where I'm at in life, just the rebuilding. I've done everything I wanted to do. Yeah. Now it's about getting it right. But mentorship could have been the saving grace in that. And we have to, as elders, as we get to that elder phase, not be afraid to give information.
Yeah.
And as young people, we can't be afraid to ask for it either.
Absolutely.
The worst you're gonna get, as you said, is no.
I remember a older poet, older than me. I would consider him one of my elders. I remember him saying, yo, one of his strategies was telling young dope niggas that they were whack. To kill their spirit. Because everybody is in competition. It's competition. And if I see that you dope, and I see that you dope, but you care about my opinion, I'm in control of what you do now. So I'm gonna tell you, I don't really like your shit. It's all right to take the wind out of your sail, so that I can keep trucking and that you can keep looking up to me, because I don't want you to pass me. I don't want to be on stage with you and it get down to the point where there's an audience member that got $5, $10, and I'm aging myself again, I'm about to talk about CDs, but like $5, $10, and that's all they got, and they got to choose between me and you, and we both have CDs. No, at the end of the day, sometimes this CD money is food for my baby. Sometimes this CD money is
I'm gonna get home. Sometimes this shit is the difference between me paying rent this month and me paying rent next month. Like, this shit is business. It's always business. And even at this level, it's business, and it's so fucking cutthroat, and it can kill artists. That mentality can kill great art. And it's like, but I need for us to remember that we are Black. And I need us to remember who we are. So we try to align ourselves and read that Trump book and how to do business. And that doesn't fit us. That's why we take violence. They just get mad at each other. But we go to violence when we've been hurt or undercut or whatever. But we can't do business like that. As Black people, we can't help but to feel. It's in our DNA passion. It's built in us.
Yeah.
I don't know if it comes from the sun or how it gets, but it's us.
Yeah.
But and I hear people say, man, this is business. And I can't exist in that world like that. But because when I see you doing your thing, I see somebody who's working.
Right.
I see somebody who's a living, breathing creature that's working. And I can't devalue your work, because even if I don't enjoy it, somebody's going to enjoy it. That's why I may not share it to my page, but I'll share it to my group page, because it's something that I think somebody in there may listen to.
Right.
But at the same time, that idea of us trying to align ourselves up with how the white artists do it, we can't work like that.
Yo, let me tell you something. That mentality that you have makes you a target. I got the same mentality, and it makes me a target. Because see, the thing is that you will go at it pure of heart. Yeah. You'll go at it with that, like the people that you talk, Tracy, Troy, the people that you talk about right now are of that, let's do it for Black folks. Yeah. It's about Black love. It's about acknowledging a gift in somebody and nurturing that gift so that it can grow beyond our fucking imagination. That type of mentality makes you a target. Because now you got people who have the same skin as you, who try to use you, and who are opportunists to see, okay, how can I use Nate to get above him? How can I use Nate to be better than him? And it's like, how can I use him as a step? I don't want to use him. How can I use him? If you can't use somebody, why the fuck is you around? And that speaks to the level of conflict that you see a lot of people having. It's not real conflict, but I just drained you, and I know I drained you. So I gotta have an exit strategy, because I can't just say goodbye. So I gotta create conflicts. So you see all these people that used to work together, like, why they don't fuck with each other? Right. Just create conflict.
probably one-sided fake conflict because I needed an exit strategy because I've got all I could give, right? And I'm about to carry this shit out the door, but I can't just walk out the door. You know, I got to be mad and grabbing all the shit off the table and just leaving. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you a lot of this, and I follow your questions a lot. I tend to just spectate a lot, and I'll just like it because I don't want to get into that political system that your shit starting will entail. But I get it, you know, I understand it and I value it so much. But this question right here, it hit me because I didn't see it from the person that's not being supported, yelling, you hating on me.
Right.
I saw it from the other side of why are you in this political system? Is it working for you?
Right.
Is it paying your bills? Is it really benefiting and growing and strengthening your foundation? Or is it just your, like you said, chess moves?
Right.
Are you trying to be skilled at doing this chess game with actual people? Because at the end of the day, your integrity will be in question.
I wish, and it's true, I wish that younger artists, because now in my 30s, man, I don't give a fuck, man. And
that happens at 30. You got that at 29, but at 30,
it was
I don't give a
fuck,
switch.
Man. I'm going to do what I love to do. I'm going to do my art, and who likes it, likes it. Who doesn't, it's fine. In my early 20s, I was so focused on trying to get people who don't like us to like us. And that's an ass backwards way of doing art, because that's also an easy way to fall into the trap of creating for people. You have to create from within here. Like, I think that the pattern, well, I'll tell you my pattern. My pattern was this. In the beginning, when we didn't have an audience and we didn't have anything, it started off creating from within. It started off with us bouncing our ideas off of each other. Yo, that shit hard. I really don't like that shit. Yo, that shit going on the project. And us thinking that once we form this project, nigga, Jay-Z gonna come from a helicopter and save us. Like I swear that's what we thought. And then we went to the open mics. We started performing. We saw different different reactions from the audience. It made us better. It made us a lot better. And I am very lucky to be the person that I am, and I'm very lucky to have the mind that I have, because instead of letting things defeat me, I just became a student.
But that's not luck. That's a blessing, because a blessing is attached to you listening.
Right.
And you acting on your listening.
Right.
To whatever your higher power is. That's a blessing.
Right.
Many people don't listen to that level.
For sure. So this is the thing. So like, we would watch other artists and learn from other artists and see how other artists moved on stage and see how they maneuvered and see how, where they stood and how they performed in different, because even when you perform, it's still, there's a sense of acting. Yeah. There's a huge sense.
Performance.
It's performing. So you can't just get up there and rhyme words, blue, hue, do, shoe. Like, no, like you have to get up there and I'm at a space now where I can get up on stage, say the word blue and make people feel that shit. So like there's a level of being a student. And then we started to perform, we started to get certain reactions, and we got high off of those reactions. So now we're in the house writing our stuff and erasing. Like, no, that ain't gonna get them. That's not gonna make the audience do something. Let me write this. Oh,
creating for the reaction.
It's like I'm writing for them.
For a reaction.
For a reaction. So it's like, I'm gonna kill these niggas with this line. Oh, I'm gonna murder these. Okay, so the next, and we practice and practice and practice, and we kill audiences. But in turn, we were killing ourselves as artists, because we weren't creating anymore from within. We weren't creating from a place.
But see, we clown those type of artists at one point.
Yeah.
We clowned the Lauryn Hills and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we thought they just you know, they bullshitting.
Yeah.
No, but it has to be real.
It gotta be from a place.
Real.
So now I really wish that artists in their 20s, in their late teens, in their teenage years consistently create art that means something to you and then go out there and test it.
You know the solution to that? Every time you perform, you need to end with that. Every time you get in and do the series that you have, the podcast, you need to filter that message through your art.
Sure.
Because then that's your giving back. And I realized I can't make you do anything, Theo, that Theo don't want to do.
100%.
But what I can do is plant a seed. Now he will go home, and if his chakras lined up correctly,
right,
something will stick. Like, maybe let me ponder over this a bit. And I can plant a seed. As a teacher, I no longer want to fix or change anybody.
For sure.
Or make anybody. For sure. All I can do is speak my piece and get the hell off the stage.
That's it.
And that's it.
And that's it. So what so as far as like the caring about what's going on social media, caring about how shit is moving and all of that time that you could be spending on your art, learning about your art, learning about different aspects of your art, learning about yourself. If you're a producer, learning another instrument, learning about chords, learning about progression, learning about different chord staging, learning about the circle of fifths, learning about learning your music, taking all that time to pick something new up, do something different, challenge yourself. If you're a rapper, try rap on a different beat. You could be doing all this. Everything is drills. You should be drilling all the time. You should be drilling. Like when you go to school and you go into class and in the morning there's a warm up, there's a drill, there's a make. You should be applying that shit to your art, applying that shit to who you are, instead of worrying about the politics of things, worrying about who posted what you posted or what worried about that shit.
Yeah.
Shout them out. Be like, yo, I appreciate you posting that. Thank them. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Avoid trying to think so deeply into why this person did this shit. Whether they really like me or not.
Right.
None of that shit matters. It does not. At the end of the day, it don't matter.
Well, we got the biggest issue was we got caught up in that in-house mentality.
Yes.
Meaning, I'm a YouTube University alum.
Same.
But at the same time, I had to make sure I learned things the standard way of doing something, and then I had to make it my own. And then on the other side, I can't do everything.
Right.
I really can't do everything. Just being honest with yourself. Nigga, you don't know how to read music. So I'm not going to sit up there and try to write for you. I'm gonna learn it so I know who to hire.
Right.
And I know that they know what they're doing. That's as much as I'm going to learn. But on the flip side of that, I'm going to make sure what I do have control of, I can do that shit without even blinking. It's the preparation of it.
Listen, when I was younger, one of the things that I always wanted to do was just find a studio home. That's all I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find a studio home. I had places that I could perform. It's easy. Right. And I had like my little home studio, like my little room and shit like that. It's easy. In Baltimore people, I love us so fucking much. I love us as artists so much because especially the ones that are still doing it and the ones that are really good. Because the ones that are really good came from a place of, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what you're saying right now, and because you said it in the beginning of this podcast, there were a lot of things that you did yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's because when you reached out to people, they weren't giving you the answers that you were looking for. They weren't putting you in an environment that was probably best for you to hone in on your art. So you was like, yo, I have to go do this shit myself.
Yeah.
As a musician, as an artist, as a rapper, whatever the case may be, a lot of the really dope niggas start off doing this shit by themselves. When I was young, I just wanted a studio home. Every studio that I went to, and when I say a studio home, I mean a professional one. I mean the one that had studio A, B, and C in a building that you walked in and it was big ass mixers that had all of the faders that amateur or regular person that's not in that area understand. That don't understand mixing and mastering and reverb and plugins and busing a track from one track to another to make sure that all of the sounds go into this so you don't overflow one certain so you don't overflow your CPU and your shit crash and you lose all your music. Like, instead of learning that shit from experience, because I've lost a lot of shit doing a lot of shit. I lost a lot of shit doing a lot of shit. If I had a studio home where there was an engineer and musicians in and out, and I was always in that environment, I would have picked that up. I would have learned, yo, you need to get an external hard drive. You need to invest in an external hard drive immediately. So that if you do lose your shit, you always got it. I had to learn that by myself. I didn't learn that from a studio home. Every studio home that I went to, or every place that I went to, they always wanted some money. It was always like, yeah, I mean, you can kick it, but it's going to be like $75 to kick it. It's going to be, if we all chip in and put $100 in, then we can kick it in the studio. Well, nigga, I don't have music here. I just want to be in the environment. I just want to be around as a young person. Now, I still don't have that studio home, but I have access to a bunch of studio. I can do it now. Like, I know studios I can just go to and sit and chill if I just want to be in the environment.
But you learned enough to be comfortable not having one at this moment. So you 100%. Know how to finagle it and really make it yours.
If I wanted to go to a studio right now and just sit on the couch, I could do that. I could not. Yo, just want to kick it for like a couple of minutes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just here for, maybe here for like an hour or two, just watching, bro. That's it. Because I know niggas that started with me, that started in their house with a computer, a little shitty keyboard. They kept going, and now they have rented out a spot and took the walls down from that motherfucker and built their studio from scratch. I know people that's like that now. But that took more than a decade. It shouldn't take that much time. I think that you should always have a little young motherfucker in the studio that's hungry, that wants to, that just wants to learn. And you can tell a person is hungry just from their questions.
Yeah.
Damn, like, yo, this kid has asked me certain questions, and they did the research on their own to know what questions to ask. They're not asking me every little tedious thing. How do you turn this on? Where's the middle C? Where's there's enough information out there for you to kind of get that information, but come to me with questions that show me that you've done some sort of research on your own. I always want you around because I know that you are gonna go get it without me. You have the drive to go get it without me. So come through the studio and kick it. Come through and watch this shit that you don't have access to right now, but you might have access to.
But we have to align both sides of that. So the person who has the access, you can't be like standoffish because this person may one up me.
Yeah.
Because I see that as me building a legacy of my name. When we see these behind the stories, there's so many people that were touched by those artists, and those individuals, that they may not even have realized this person was following me, or that's why they were always around. But again, and then on the other side, I have to do the work. Stop coming to people and you ain't did the work. Stop coming to people and you have not put in You haven't read up on it. You haven't looked at a YouTube of it. You haven't done anything. You have to know something in order to ask a question.
Right, for sure. You have to have incorporated something, or you have to have had some sort of input in the culture.
Right.
You have to have some sort of input in the culture. And
beyond just wanting to do it.
Just wanting to do it. It got to be a reason. It got to be a reason, and you have to let me know that you don't fucking sleep without thinking about this shit. You sleep thinking about, how can I do this? If it's hip hop, this is personally for me, if it's hip hop, you a rapper or whatever, you a producer, and it's like if you have a favorite producer or a favorite rapper, you better be ready to teach me something about him. Besides, yo, this is my favorite rapper. I really, really like this one song that they came out with. Or this is my favorite rapper because I seen a video one time and a video was dope. Right. Or this is my favorite producer because I really, really like this one song that this guy, I like this song that Mike Will made because I heard, the little tag in the beginning. Right. You better be able to tell me some other shit about him. You better be able to school me on some shit that he done used to make the beats.
So like always, and I don't want you to come back in another 2 years. We're definitely gonna meet because I have questions.
Sure.
And I'm telling you, that question did something to me. It stirred something up because it went beyond just the pettiness and the crab mentality. Right. It really spoke to us remembering who we are. And we can't keep doing stuff that the GBCA has put on their guidelines for us to be able to do 100. And how we should be creating. But we have to really create this space of creating from our nature and not from theirs. Because theirs is getting us into trouble, is leading to too much dissension and all that craziness. Yeah. But before you go, I have a question for you. What advice would you give to your 17-year-old self? And what question would you ask to your 100-year-old self?
17-year-old self, the advice that I would give to my 17-year-old self, this is crazy because I think about this all the time. My advice that I would give to my 17-year-old self is don't forget to have an open mind and network with other artists and producers, and don't forget to say yes to as many opportunities as you can. I remember being 17 and being very protective of my art and myself because art is a sensitive thing. And certain things that you like I'm a Black man from the neighborhood. So there's certain things that I like that I know other people would probably clown me for. Like I love rock music, love it. Love classical music, love musicals, love them, like bro, like love them.
I feel you.
Love musicals. Love metal. Like I used to like System of a Down and Tenacious D and love, like all of these things that I love, I would keep to myself because I was afraid of what other people would think about that.
And it's music.
And it's music. It's music, it's comedy, it's art, it's all the shit that if I said something, it would get rid of the people who weren't supposed to be a part of my tribe and bring in the people that were supposed to be a part of my tribe. So just that fear. My advice for my 17-year-old self is lead with love, don't lead with fear, and don't forget to network. Don't forget to talk and network. Question that I would ask my 100-year-old self.
No lottery numbers. We can't do that.
No, it would never be that. It would. I don't even want those. 100-year-old self. How did you find genuine happiness? How did you find it? And when you found it, how did you know that's what it was?
I'm gonna tell you the secret. So especially to the 17-year-old self, this being something that's on your mind, typically these two questions, statements, whatever, are advice and question, tells you a lot about where Theo is right now in his life.
100.
So when you randomly ask yourself this or put it and make it a part of your meditation, and it gives you a good sense of right now.
Okay.
What's on my mind? Sometimes we get so caught up in being artists, and we do many things as artists, we wear many hats, and then we still work a 9 to 5. So we get caught up in all those things, and sometimes it's great to just ask those two questions to ourselves, and it gives you a lot of input on where you are now, like what your heart is telling you to do or focus on. Because we sometimes are focusing on things that are outside of those things, and that's what gets us into the brick wall. So I have to say thank you for coming on. I definitely want to meet with you soon and just discuss I'll tell you what I want to discuss. For sure. But I'll just in terms of keep doing that, because you're stirring a pot and you're asking questions that people may not even know we need to stir the pot with, but we need that pot stirred. For sure. We need some fires to be set. We need some shit to hit the wall. We need it. We need it in this community because I see too many of our great artists leaving. Yeah. And that's going to take away a lot of mentorship. That's taking away a lot of resources, a lot of, do this, not that. So keep stirring that pot, man, and you're on the right track. Like, I follow y'all. I'm waiting till the podcast come back. I'm going to be a patient person and just say it. I can't wait to see the interview with Brother Muhammad. Yeah. Because I think that should be your next one. Yeah. Because we all want to know what the man been saying. Man. But in general, just thank you, and I appreciate you. And just keep doing what you're doing,
appreciate
man. You. This arts community needs you.
Man, that's deep. I appreciate you, bro.
Let us know where we can find you on social media.
All right.
Where we can send them food stamps.
Yeah, please send them in. I'm hungry. So Instagram is Theo Atlas. That's TheoAtlas 224. Okay. For Facebook, it's probably the same shit. Theo or Theodore Atlas. So as of right now, just those two platforms, Facebook and Instagram. I have a TikTok, but I'm a
still
old man.
You still work. I get you. You working
still trying to build that TikTok up, but it's all Theo Atlas 224. Okay. You know what I mean? 224 being my birthday. So
there we go. It's coming up.
Man. Yeah, man.
Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another edition of the Artist Exchange. Don't forget, every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're here live. And also check out the Artist Exchange page on Facebook and Instagram. We have a lot of great shows coming up. Monday, stay tuned. We have the first episode of You Thought I Was Him, the project I'm working with Troy Burton. Word. Don't miss it. Set your calendars. Go to the page and click on subscribe because we got some phenomenal artists coming up. And you may see this man on one of them because this is the shit that we be talking about.
I would love it.
Stay tuned. And that goes from January to October. We're doing a short series leading up to the actual production. You Thought I Was Him. And if you saw a Real Nigga Show, this is a spinoff. So you better come and watch it. Or, subscribe to it because we might still be in this fucking coronavirus. So keep tight. Wear your fucking mask.
Take it easy, bro.
You too. I'll let you know.